Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nayri, also known as Wedding Fashion Expert. This week, we are talking about a subscriber requested topic on the proper length a wedding dress should be hemmed. Before we dive into this week's topic, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, drop me a comment below, let me know if there is a particular video topic you'd like me to create a video on. I am here for you, guiding you along the way, leading up to your special day. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. I am so honored that you have found me. I am, of course, a wedding fashion expert, stylist, buyer, wear so many different hats at LOVELLA Bridal, located in Los Angeles, California. For daily content, be sure to follow us on Instagram at LOVELLA Bridal, at LOVELLA Plus, and at Wedding Fashion Expert. Hit that follow button on TikTok as well, at LOVELLA Bridal and at Wedding Fashion Expert. As I mentioned, this video was requested by a subscriber. Andy wrote in saying, "Hi Nayri, can you do a video on what the perfect hem is for a wedding dress? I just went to my first fitting and I'm not sure if my dress is too short or just perfect after I wore heels. The length was customized to my height when I placed the order. I'm 5 feet tall. Should my feet be completely covered when I walk in my shoes, or should my toes be peeking a little bit? Would love to know your thoughts on this." When it comes to the length your dress should be hemmed to, and yes, most gowns you order, just before we dive in any further to it, they come in a standard length. Oftentimes, for most people of the average height or shorter, they will need a hem. If you are on the taller side, the dress could come perfectly to your height, which is extremely rare. That very rarely happens. Or it's going to be, if you're really tall, it'll be too short on you and you need to order extra length. I have done a video for all my tall brides out there on what to consider while shopping. I will link that for you below, just in case if you missed it, so you can review that again. Now, Andy said that they ordered a custom length for her. I typically don't recommend doing that. I have done it in the past, and oftentimes my brides have changed the heel height they want to wear. Even though if you're doing a custom length, you measure the hem of the dress based on the heel height you're gonna wear. However, I have had brides decide that they then wanted to wear a higher heel and the dress is too short. That being said, many designers do charge you for a custom hem. Some don't. It could be included. It doesn't mean that it's going to show up 100% perfect. So if that was included into the cost and you're trying to avoid alteration fees in a hem, I usually recommend going with the standard length because that's what you tried on in store. You can pick your heel height, you hem it to your heel height, and you're good to go. Custom hems, I've had too many issues with it. Even if a designer offers it complimentary, I don't recommend it. That's just from my personal experience. I know, I'm sure many people have had great experiences with it. I just find it super risky to do from my personal experience. Now, when it comes to the perfect length of a dress, the under layers, so your dress, unless your dress is like a very slinky dress that it only has one layer, that there's no lining or no additional layers of crinoline or anything like that, that layer should be just grazing the floor if you only have one layer. Okay, but if you have a lining, the lining should be hemmed to the top of your foot. And then the crinoline layers are a teeny bit longer than the lining, but still above your foot. Why? You don't want it to be too long for you to walk and it rolls under your foot and you're stepping on it. So that's why you want it on the top of your foot, so it's free and you can move freely throughout. And also for the crinoline layers, if you're walking on carpet or grass, that is a very stiff layer that gets caught to a lot of things. So if it's too long, it's gonna get caught to things like grass that's a little bit taller, and as you're walking, it's just not ideal. So the under layers are to the top of the foot. The top layer of the dress, so essentially if you work this inside out, the layers get longer on the outside. The inside is going to be above the foot, and then it gets longer and longer and longer and longer. The perfect hem should just be grazing the floor when you're standing still. To answer the question about your feet showing, if you are in a big ball gown and the hem is grazing the floor, well, because of the amount of width of the skirt, when you take a step, your foot is most likely not going to show. If you are in a slender, slinky dress that does not have a lot of layers at the bottom, at the proper length when you walk, your foot is going to peek out when it is hemmed properly. Oftentimes when you are trying on these dresses, you're just standing still because the dresses are too long and you're not experiencing how it moves and how your foot's going to look. So I have had a lot of brides be disappointed once a dress is hemmed properly that they go, oh my gosh, my feet show when I walk. Or if you do a pointed toe and your dress is hemmed to the floor to just graze the floor, at that point in time, if it's a pointed toe shoe, your pointed toe shoe could peek out of the fabric because there aren't a lot of layers blocking it. If you're wearing a fitted dress that has a full bottom, your foot is less likely to show. So I hope that makes sense in terms of your shoes and feet showing as you're standing. Now in movement, it's much more likely to show. Standing still, your feet shouldn't be fully exposed. Maybe you see a little bit of it. And what I mean grazing the floor, when you're standing still, that material should be just touching the floor. Now, if it's laying on the floor and kind of sprawled out, any of the material that is sprawled out when you go to walk, that too long of material that's now sprawled out is going to fold under and you're going to step on it. So those are the things that you want to be mindful of when it comes to the proper hem of a dress. Now, have I had instances where a hem was too short? Yes. There are options to lengthen it a little bit more. You can also be really specific about this to your seamstress of what length you want. I have had brides who don't want us to hem it and they're not very tall and the material is totally sprawled out, laying on the floor, and they are just going to pick it up and walk around all day. I don't recommend doing this. Some brides have a particular vision. We have to respect everyone's vision. But in terms of functionality, that is the reason why I don't recommend it. Your wedding is a long day, and for you to be tripping constantly, for it to be catching onto things, it gets annoying after a while. And in a bridal store, you seem perfectly fine because you're standing still and you aren't moving. But once you start getting active on that day, you want to dance, you want to move around, you want to think about comfort. So don't hyperfixate on your feet showing too much because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You can move around comfortably. That's more important. And if a seamstress hemmed a dress a little too short and they can't lengthen it, your other solution would be is to just go with a lower heel. Now, if you had it hemmed when you were completely on flats and you're wearing flats and it's too short, that's a whole nother ballgame. But I have also had brides who have asked me to hem a dress, not me personally, asked our seamstresses to hem a dress above their foot because they're going to be walking in sand. So there are really no rules here. Technically, it really comes down to your preference and we always respect your preference. However, if we're thinking about functionality and quote unquote the proper hem that you're supposed to have, the rule of thumb is the outer layer is to be grazing the floor and all the internal layers are shorter and shorter, which the layer closest to you is hemmed above your foot so you can move around freely. I hope that you found this video helpful and answered all your questions regarding proper hems and all my recommendations. If you have any follow-up questions to everything I have given you here, drop me a comment below. I am all ears and happy to answer any further questions you may have. For more tips and videos like these, tune in every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I will see you in next week's video.